Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wednesday, July 29th, as we find ourselves in the 17th week of Ordinary Time in a liturgical calendar. I don't know about you, but I have found myself tuning into the coverage of the life of John Lewis these past days. And I listened to a story about him told from a person who knew him very well. And this is what he said of John Lewis. It is true, John is rightly considered a civil rights icon, and he was known as the conscience of the Congress. But I think what is more amazing than that is John's faith. There are few people who actually walk the walk of one's faith and its demands upon us. He believed that each person is a child of God, deserving respect, love, compassion, and dignity. All the things we learn about Jesus and how we are to treat others, John believed with every fiber of his being. And it was the mission of his life that every person have the chance to live fully into who they were made to be, a child of God. I was so struck by that and how much our world is in dire need of more people like that. They're the kind of people that have at the source of all they do and all they are their faith and their relationship with Jesus. And it gives me pause, for sure, to look at myself and how much I still need to do to become a person of faith, as displayed by John Lewis. I know I have a long way to go with that. And whether it be the effects of all that we have been living through with the pandemic or the effects of racism in our society, the effects of poverty on so many people, and countless forms of injustice, so many of our brothers and sisters all around the world, or really just down the street from us, there are so many who do not have what they need to live life fully and fully become who they are meant to be as a child of God. Today is the feast of St. Martha, and we remember Martha and her sister Mary and their brother Lazarus. They lived in Bethany, and they are believed to be good friends of Jesus. And he went to visit them, to spend time with them, because he knew that they loved and cared for him. You'll also remember that Lazarus is the one that Jesus raised from the dead. And Martha witnessed that raising of her brother back from the dead. In today's gospel, we hear the following exchange between Martha and Jesus before the miracle of Lazarus being raised from the dead. So this is what it says. Jesus told Martha, "I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, even if he dies, will live. Anyone who lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this?" Martha said to him, "Yes, Lord. I have come to believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, the one who is coming into the world." Now, I mention St. Martha today because I think that this confession of faith on the part of Martha connects her to the life of John Lewis, at least in my own reflection. So here we have Martha. She's standing outside the tomb of her brother who recently died. She's burdened by that grief, and yet she's still able to place her trust in Jesus and make this resounding confession of faith. So remember, Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead after they had this conversation. But she was able to believe in Jesus and make that confession of faith even before her brother was returned to her. In the face of such hardship that she was experiencing, she still was able to have this full faith in Jesus. John Lewis, in a similar way, seemed to have the ability to keep his faith even in the face of unimaginable violence and hatred. You know, I think about all the times that he was beaten, over and over again, the times that he was jailed, his friends murdered, and yet somehow he was still able to remain steadfast in his trust in Jesus. He did not have a guarantee that in time all of his efforts would bear fruit. And yet time after time, he kept moving forward, trusting in the mission of Jesus to build up the kingdom of heaven right here on earth. That all people deserve love and compassion. And John Lewis talked about building the beloved community, where all people could live fully into their call as a child of God. So I think that both Martha and John remind us and challenge us to keep ourselves grounded in our faith, grounded in our relationship with Jesus, even when so much seems to be going wrong around us. And we've been experiencing that, right? In these past months, so much hardship and struggle that either we have experienced personally or have witnessed for others. And we know that there's still a ways to go, and that our trust in Jesus is needed even more so. So I want to close with a quote by John Lewis that I think is very inspiring and at least very hopeful for me, that I wanted to share with all of you today. So this is what he says. You are a light. Never let anyone, any person, or any force dampen, dim, or diminish your light. If you follow the truth down the road to peace and the affirmation of love, if you shine like a beacon for all to see, then the poetry of all the great dreamers and philosophers is yours to manifest in a nation, in a world community, and a beloved community that is finally at peace with itself. You are a light. So I pray for all of us that we can believe in that light that we have to offer. And please know that I continue to pray for you and all your families to keep safe and healthy. And until we see each other again, I wish you much peace and much hope.